Let's talk about the ranks and how to climb them, starting with Bronze. Bronze makes up the bottom 7% of the player base, and escaping from it takes an understanding of economy. As the game starts, you should have one goal in mind. Create an XP lead. Gain experience, more experience than your opponent, becoming more powerful than them so you can win the video game. This is done on the most basic level by soaking, by not dying. When you are half a screen away, you are absorbing XP that is being made in the field. Here, Sonya is killing my minions faster than I'm killing hers. This is reflected on the top bar as she has an XP lead. But I am in no danger. I don't have to rush. All I have to do is wait for this XP to reach my wall, where it will be killed, and create XP for my team. As this wave of minions hits the wall, the turrets target it, killing it faster and catching me up in XP. As these minions fall, you see that I'm breaking even with Sonya. But the goal of the game isn't to break even, it's to win. So let's talk about ways that you can create more XP than your opponent. An easy way to create an XP lead is by soaking a lane that nobody on the enemy team is soaking, thereby giving you more income than the enemy has. A more dangerous way to get XP is by forcing the enemy to not occupy the lane by killing them, or lowering their health to such a degree that they will be forced to back and abandon their physical presence in that lane, which is causing the soak. Depending on your skills, this may not be doable, and depending on your matchup, this may not be plausible. In that case, set yourself the goal in mind of creating XP from other sources, like these towers. Towers are one of the richest ways to get XP for your team. By farming towers, you give two advantages to your team. First, the XP provided when the tower eventually falls. Secondly, each of these towers does damage, 500 damage a shot. If there are two towers, these two towers, when the lane minions reach the wall, will do 1,000 damage together. By removing one of the towers, I create a lane advantage. My side has two towers destroying the enemy wave when it reaches the wall rather quickly. But with one tower left, the enemy wall will be overwhelmed and fall, creating even more XP. So on a poke character like Li Ming, who will not win their lane matchup against someone like Sonya, immediately focusing on being squirrely and farming these towers is an extremely powerful move. Let's take a look at this matchup in full speed. I've already acknowledged that Sonya is my enemy in lane, and I'm not going to beat her in a straight duel. Throwing spells at her would have reduced effect, particularly when she's embedded in the lane minions due to the nature of my arcane orb. My magic missile text says that missiles do 50% reduced damage to structures. So I now have a bit of a goal in mind. Right now I am breaking even, Sonya's pushing me out, and as they reach the wall, I will catch up in that XP. Instead, let's dodge the character I'm not going to defeat and start farming up on her towers. I have a teleport to get away should things go wrong. I've got a lower value magic missile cast that I can use against Sonya to maybe zone her out, to scare her away, to keep that pressure. But all my focus continues to roll in to these back towers, creating that advantage. Right now, Sonya has not done any tower damage to me. While she's been winning this lane, I have created an XP advantage. The objective is gonna pop around 3 minutes. So I'm even timing myself out here, seeing if I can complete my objective and give my team that XP lead by the time the first curse pops. I've even gone power hungry here, so I'm going to expend a little bit of my time grabbing an orb to increase my damage by 10% and give me some mana back and get right back to farming. You can pop into these bushes too to drop any aggro that you may have on these lane minions, particularly the archers that do that high amount of damage. Here's the first tribute. As it falls, I've gotten my XP lead. As that XP is shared across the entire team, my entire team has benefited from the level lead that I provided by destroying a single tower. But there's even more to it. Now as this lane duels back and forth and creates its waves, Mine will hit into a wall of only a single tower. This tower does 500 damage a shot. My wall does 1,000 damage a shot because there are 2 towers. My lane will eventually win and overwhelm this fort because I have created a lane advantage. I don't even have to be a part of this lane anymore to have this advantage continue to stack. To add even more gravity to this strategy, let's talk about the XP values of the individual buildings. This front tower is equal to 500 XP. This front tower is equal to 500 XP. This fort here is equal to 1000 XP. Destroying the front 2 towers gives you the XP equivalence of a fort. You are giving your team a fort's worth of XP when you farm the front towers, not even talking about the actual destruction that'll be done as the buildings fall. Likewise, each mercenary killed is only equal to about 80, in this case 84, XP each. What you're really taking a merc camp for is the eventual building damage that will be created by it. Capping the camp itself doesn't provide any additional XP either. Throughout Bronze, individual player performance and execution will be pretty low, which is why we don't worry about the individual matchups as much as having a goal in your lane. If there are so many mistakes in Bronze, play solid and let the mistakes happen around you. If you give your team a level lead, that bad fight they pick turns into a good fight. That 4v5 turns into a victorious battle. Bronze players won't even know why they're winning. You will, because you gave them the XP lead that made them levels more powerful than the enemy. We talked about Li Ming and poking. Let's talk about some other characters that can safely gain this XP as well. Another good way to focus on getting more XP than your opponent is to focus on yourself, only yourself, and just soak out the lane. Here in this matchup, I'm Blaze. I have tons of regeneration. Standing on top of my fire allows me to just tank all this damage. While tanking, with an escape like jet propulsion, I don't have to worry about ganks or Sonya locking onto me. I can just continue to play aggressively, and anytime I need to take a step back, I have the self-regeneration and the lane clear to keep this up. My dedication here is just to myself and making sure I don't make any mistakes that'll cause my team to fall behind. By doing this against Sonya, I have removed one of the main lane bullies from the map, from the options available to my team to lane against, and I've made it easier for them. By taking this safe matchup with my safe character, I'm stopping the chance that Malfurion has to duel her. Our support, our low damage, low clear ETC has to lane against Sonya. If you're ever stuck in a bad matchup, just stay calm. Remember that at all times you are breaking even as long as you are soaking. In this situation, it is very scary that Sonya is doing so much more damage than my Uther is capable of. My main goal here is to reduce the damage done to my wall and prevent that XP from ultimately reaching. I can do a number of things here. I can trade my health for that of the wall here. I'm taking this damage from these archers, but it means they're not locking onto my wall, causing that eventual advantage. And as soon as the lane gets pushed out to about the halfway point, I go back to hiding, making sure that I'm staying alive to soak this XP. There is no reason to panic. Focus on yourself, ignore what's happening in the other lanes, particularly in Bronze, and make your matchup as valuable as possible. Obviously, this job can be done by a specialist, but you need to make sure, more important than any other role, that you maintain that same focus. You will get bogged down in attacking the lane. You will get excited about it. Remember that as long as you're standing here, you are creating XP. There is no reason, unless I've got additional goals, for me to push this any faster. And in fact, I'm losing a lot of mana in this matchup to Sonya. My goal should either be to attack the towers and build that advantage, or to get rid of Sonya. And getting rid of my enemy hero takes map and game knowledge. It takes the knowledge of the individual interactions between Sonya and, in this case, Asmodan. I know as a player that when I connect My all-shell burn, Sonya's only got one stun to stop me, that being her hook shot. By hiding inside my lane minions here, I'm able to stop her from delivering the mini stun that causes my spell to stop moving. But that's not something we can expect of Bronze. A better strategy here would be to continue to either lay into Sonya, because we have a higher damage character, or ignore her completely and get advantage in other areas of the map, mainly burning down these towers, and when the time comes and I am pushed out, focusing all that damage into an XP valuable source like these towers. Ultimately, you should play characters you are passionate about. Having fun means you will put in the game time to improve and get better, thus climbing the ranks. However, if you're in Bronze and looking for suggestions of characters to play to create a level lead, here are some good options. We talked about Li Ming and her long-range poke options, the Arcane Orb, along with the teleport that allows you to get away safely if an enemy should accost you during your trickery and XP lead gather. Other characters that are good at this are like Nazeebo or Jaina, long range with the tools to get away. Jaina slows people, making her faster than her opponents who try to catch her, and Nazeebo has zombie walls and a high amount of health to get back safely to his side of the map. You may notice that these are all burst characters, dealing their damage in the form of spells very quickly. This means your positioning is less important. Throwing out a quick spell and then running away means you have already contributed a maximum damage number. There are sustained characters great at destroying buildings, like Vala, Greymane, or Falstad, but the time it takes the investment of locking on with auto attacks is very high and will leave you exposed. Throwing out a single orb, spider, or frostbolt allows you to move immediately after, check your location, and then go back when you're on cooldown. Start working sustained characters into your roster so you're ready to play them as you advance in rank. But for now, stick to the cooldown-based wizards as they are simply easier to use. For safe soakers, I showcased Blaze, who has great health regeneration, great lane clear, and a solid escape that can get him out of the way of any ganks that may show up on him. You can also perform this safety soaking with other characters that have easy-to-use self-regeneration, like Muradin. Things get in trouble, go hide in the bush for a little bit, get regenerated up, stay in range of the XP, and keep on soaking. A more advanced character of this that you may pick commonly is Rengar. Supports will oftentimes have to soak in Bronze. Rengar has the tools and the self-regeneration to take care of himself, even heal his own lane a little bit, and maybe win that matchup. Just as before, here are some characters that are good at this role, but not the easiest to use, and you should add to your roster later on. Sonya is the top tier lane bully and has been for a long time. Balance will push her in and out, but having Sonya is never wrong for your roster. She does have to regenerate on top of enemy minions, and because of this, has a lot of individual interactions with her enemy combatant. When dueling, understanding your opponent is extremely important, so we'll save lane bullies like her for silver and above. Tracer has the ability to recall out of danger, meaning she can go onto the enemy's half of the map and know that she can safely return at any point to where she previously was. This is clearly a very advanced tactic. You have no way to regenerate your own health, merely a way to dodge ganks if they come in on you. Tracer can safely soak for an extended period of time. I wouldn't recommend it, however. There are also stealth characters like Samuto who can get away at the click of a button. Again, you don't have a way to regenerate your own health, and participating in team fights is very important, and very difficult to do on melees with only auto attacks. Lastly, let's talk about the two best soakers in the game, Dahaka and Brightwing. Both of these take advanced understanding of rotations and great execution to make use of their bizarre kits. Brightwing cannot mount. Instead, she has the ability to teleport to an allied hero anywhere across the map. However, you're in Bronze. You can only do this once every 55 seconds. There has to be an allied hero positioned for you to teleport to in the first place. Managing that cooldown and actually having allies worth teleporting to are going to be very difficult to have in Bronze. Get trained on Brightwing. Prepare for higher leagues. If you enjoy the playstyle of Brightwing, go for it. But don't invest in Brightwing as a climbing character until you have the sufficient game knowledge to take advantage of this. Things become even more complicated when you get to Dahaka, who can move globally but only to bushes laid out on the map by the developers. An unexperienced Dahaka will hope to soak a lane only to find himself trapped there for an entire minute while the objective is happening top. Learn all the maps, learn the basics of soaking first, and then use Dahaka or Brightwing because of your advanced knowledge on soaking. This is the first video in a series that'll go over what skills you need to climb each individual rank. Let's do a quick preview of that now, so you know what to expect as you make your climb. Bronze is about economy, creating XP, getting a level lead, and winning off that lead. Silver is about production management. If you have a heroic on a minute-long cooldown, make sure you cast that heroic as many times as you can across the course of the match so it has maximum impact. Getting to gold is about possessing game knowledge and information. Knowledge is what you bring to the game. Information is what you've gleaned from inside that particular game. For example, knowledge is knowing a good build. Information is how you change the build to suit the current situation. Platinum is all about choices. The choice of character you made in the draft, what you choose to do with your level lead, how you play from behind. For Diamond and above, it's all about management, control, micro, improving your impact on that hero, staying up with the meta, and dusting, continuing to stay as good as you are. This is why so few people in Masters and above have lots of different mains. It is difficult to maintain skill on so many characters at once.